argument from get it back. Get it correct. I hear you. Alright, it's a wonderful evening for us to get some discussions on it. Tonight on the show we're gonna have John Canegata with us tonight. He's an aspirant for the 30th legislature of the Virgin Islands. And we want to talk about our hot topics as we do for every hot topic, every show. And the first thing we want to talk about is the AG has issued a legal opinion on the voting machines that we currently have and says the voting machines are legal despite legislation requiring an EAC certification. And he says that it is legal because we don't have to implement the law because the legislature has not provided any funding to buy the new machines. Okay, Natalie, tell me a little bit. You're a lawyer. Tell me what you think about that.
Well, maybe we're mixing apples and oranges as it relates to the machines that it's referring to. Because number one, the legislation, I don't remember the act, but as far as I know, that legislation was put in place, correct?
Yes.
So they have to
Act 7334.
So it seems to me that they have to locate the money that's needed to get these machines, but I guess in his reasoning, or in his wisdom as Attorney General, he thinks that somehow we can overlook them.
So no, I wouldn't want to say anything. I mean, it's just an opinion, and we know he's given wrong opinion before regarding the Constitution as well. But I don't understand how you would say go ahead and use the machine because we don't have the new machine. Simply because we don't have the
what I'm
saying is that there's an alternative to use, which is the paper ballot.
Right, but maybe some people don't want to use the paper ballot. So what he's saying is the procurement process has started, however the machines have not been.
Oh no, what he's saying is that the procurement has started, but the Revised Act requires us to have elections.
Right. And so
which I agree with you makes no sense. It doesn't say how to have the election. So if the law says you have to have a certain machine, the machine that you have isn't in compliance with the law, then what would be in compliance would be the ballots, the paper ballots, because the law says you can do it by those machines or by paper ballot.
And that's my point. I don't see how you can encourage breaking the last issue because it's have a machine in place. When you have an alternative.
Does parallel lines exist in nature? Do things run parallel? Sure. So you're telling me while this bill was going to the legislature, the Board of Election could not be looking at machines and be ready? And also
there was money that you get from the Federal Election Commission set aside to do the stuff. So how much money they're looking for?
But then they also passed a bill back in December where they did the 5% in grocery receipts or whatever they did the grocery receipts in December. Isn't that also called sound planning? Because all that could have been taken care of back in December when this bill was passed.
Now, I haven't seen those. I'm going by what's in the paper. And I haven't fully seen what the General Congress is opinion. But what I can gather from the excerpt that they put in the paper is it seems to me that he's utilizing the area of the law that says where you are entering into contracts, you have to identify the funding source in order for the contract to be valid. I'm not sure how that transcends to a law being valid. I think it's a stretch. But I'm going to read it up and maybe on our next show we'll talk a bit more about it. But I think that's a little bit, you're right, it's apples and oranges.
Right, there's also the sentiments that there's nothing that these machines have been certified by the federal agencies.
Which one? Yes. Which machines?
These current machines.
That's the big confusion. That's what Johnny Robinson Jr. said.
I continues to 2 years ago he said that.
He said, this is the Attorney General Freedom, there's nothing wrong with the voting machines used for the territory in the sense that they're compliant with federal law.
No, compliant. But did he quote which law they're compliant with?
No, that's the big problem. The big problem is that they've since discovered that, first of all, those machines don't exist anymore. The company that produces machines don't even exist anymore. And so, my understanding is that when Johnny Wilson said they were certified, it wasn't true.
But you know the funny thing?
And they still aren't.
Think about it. In 1996 when I first voted, 96, when I was in
yes.
those machines were in existence. The computers I used then I no longer use that. And now, think about it, in 2000, we made this effort to change over all of these computers because of Y2K and this bug and whatnot. And you're telling me that these machines are still operating at its optimal level and they can still outperform the other voting machines that have been created since then. And we may be in 4 or 5 generation machines and we're still doing the change.
There are a couple of reasons why they're not certified, they're not PAC certified. And one of them being is that there is not only that, they don't show us. You can't go every counter. That's another reason, so.
But they're saying basically that the new machines will not be in effect until 2014 elections. So I'm not certain how they're going to.
But that's not in the law. That's the problem. That's what they're saying. That they're going to be bringing it to them.
Well, that's
Apparently, the election commission people, EAC people are coming down to investigate what's been going on with our election system. It's almost like we should go in to vote by sticking our hands in ink and coming out because I don't get it that the Iraqis are doing it. I can't understand how our voting system is so forward.
But the legislation that we're talking about doesn't require that the systems use, that states use voting systems that have been certified by the agency.
But
the legislation itself doesn't require.
What legislation?
Our legislation act number
legislation.
7334.
But see, I continue to be troubled in terms of this is 2012. The election in question that took place, that everybody said was laced with fraud, took place in 2010. And the EAC is now coming in to investigate. It seems that everything is slow moving in the world when it comes to really trying to get to the true nature of things.
But let me just say one thing. That's that you are correct that it's not required that the states follow the monetary. But if you take their money, which we have, then you have to comply with that.
Correct.
And we've taken their money.
So that's good.
To the tune of almost no less than $1 million. So there's no reason why we should run around just trying to find that money for the
federal election. The federal election must be certified. We just have
because the delegates in the race.
That's
and that's what makes it a federal election.
Of course.
Right.
Even though it's just one portion of it.
Correct.
That's
But it's all on the same machine.
It's on the same machine.
Okay.
And so, but like I said, I have started to feel like we're living in North Korea, where you can't say anything or do anything, and you're not allowed to do it. But also like coming after you. And so, I think all we miss is Kim Jong-un. That's all we miss. Yes. He's probably here now, chilling, reincarnated. Anyway, so.
He's a comic.
Yes, I am. I'm back in full swing. And you know, I was ill for a little while. I wasn't on the show. And I came back ready to go as we come back. But we have John Canegata with us. And we will talk with him, see what he's about and what he has to offer. And then we'll return back to more contact. Alright, so back in a moment. Welcome back to the Voices. We have with us Mr. John Canegata, who is seeking a seat in the 30th legislature of the Virgin Islands. Welcome, John.
Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you here. Talk about a little of who you are and why you are seeking a seat in the legislature.
Well, sure, it's funny. I'm a humble person. I do the introductions, but I'm an age born Virgin Islander. I'm a husband, a father, a veteran, a business owner, and I'm an energy expert. That's one of the true reasons why I'm running here. I think one of our major problems we have in the Virgin Islands is this energy crisis we're in. I told our friends back in 2002 in regards to the generation now, when the price of oil was $75 a barrel, it says, we have an energy crisis. And it kept on going up, and no one really heard. But now, I think we're feeling that. But in addition to that, I'm a business owner. I know what it is to make payroll and have to pay my grocery taxes and pay my excise taxes. And it's tough on businesses. And I believe there's a true disconnect between government and citizen, whether it's a business person or just a regular citizen. And I want to bridge that gap because I think it's really tough. I believe I'm an American citizen. I believe in government for the people, by the people. I think there's a clear disconnect between that, and I want to bridge that gap.
I think everybody's talking about this energy crisis, and they're all throwing out the phrase energy crisis. Like it's good thing to talk about. I'm not quite sure if anybody really has a plan to deal with this energy crisis. not just the Virgin Islands. What is your specific plan for us to deal with our energy issues?
Well, I have two plans. I have a short-term plan, which is not going to be a lot of infrastructure development. We're talking legislation, where the rates we pay for commercial electricity on the Virgin Islands versus on the mainland is just the opposite. They actually pay a lower rate for commercial rate than they do for residential rates. I don't understand why. I don't know if it's a PSC issue or if it's a legislative issue. I want to address that right now and says, hey, we're going to drop the price that commercial residents, commercial businesses are paying for their rates to the same level that a residential rate. What it's going to take, legislation, lobbying, I want to do that. I think we can drop it by about 5 cents. I think the delta between commercial rate versus the residential rate is about 4 or 5 cents. So that's instant right then and there. In addition, you know, I don't want to think there's any kind of conspiracy theory, but I don't like the formula that the PSC or WAPA is using with their consultants to develop a price of a barrel of oil and how that calculates for a kilowatt of electricity. I truly believe that there's real overcharge. I know a little bit about electricity rates. I know how we can convert a barrel to a BTU and what that can cost us. I think we're being overcharged almost about 15 to 20 cents. I'm going to bring in some technical expertise on that. But if that is true, and we have to take it to the judicial system to address this, I believe we have significant savings helping the people, not necessarily block up the system, but I think the people and the residents, whether it's business or residential, will definitely feel a positive impact in that respect.
What was the
long-term plan? If we don't start that cold war, if we don't implement our solar panels, if we don't get Provenza involved in this, I think there has to be a synergy between the Virgin Islands government, Provenza, and our Renaissance group. We have to start that cold war up. I think it should be our base load. I think we need to eventually phase out and move the power generation facility from Richmond over to the South Shore. I believe a little bit of waste to energy can do that trash also, maybe about 5 to 10 megawatts. It's going to be very dynamic. But it's going to cost initially, I'm thinking about $120 million to develop the whole infrastructure to really get the cold war on fire. I think they're going to absorb that. If I'm not mistaken,
they got 250, right?
Yeah, you're right. That would have been my reason.
That's wrong.
Yeah. But I think the private
Pollute the people then tax profits.
It's definitely a quality of life issue. I don't know about pollution. It's definitely it's a future.
Smell that area.
It's definitely future, and no one should live in that.
Right.
Yeah. The $120 million, I think almost $50 million are really invested by Renaissance Group.
Before you continue, let me say this before. I don't want to assume yet. What is hard to do me? I have no personal knowledge that the idea is polluting people at profits. I'm only saying, let me just clarify that. And I'm saying that the stench that you smell when you pass that area, I am presuming that's where it comes from.
I think you're right. So once again, industry pollution is definitely it's affecting the quality of life. The $120 million will be absorbed, I think, by all three entities: the Royal government, Provenza, who wants to get some power generation. They want to get out of that business, and obviously Renaissance, who could obviously would be the main player in this game. They're producing a large amount, 60 megawatts approximately, and they'll be the base load for the Virgin Islands until we can transition to something else. I think that's the short, long-term plan for the Virgin Islands.
I like your idea of, you're the first person I actually heard about in terms of moving that plan.
Yes.
And placing it on the South Shore.
Correct.
I like that. And now,
and that's not my idea. I think Emile A was what, 40 years ago came to that.
Correct.
We're just bringing it back.
So now, you have moved that plan.
Yes.
How do you now work and bring it forth and revitalizing and bring a renaissance to that particular area? We're talking the Richmond area, LBJ, John F. Kennedy, all those areas that now we moved that light in our plan.
We've heard of it, build and they will come. I think we need to first build a power generation facility. The money that we're going to save in the private sector and the public sector, I think that's new money, a new tax base that we can use that money, recycle it back into that same area, revitalize it to be whatever, homes, restaurants, hotels, and obviously it's controversial, right? People believe, hey, we're moving, it's gentrification, we're moving to poor people off the shorelines and bringing hotels and condominiums. It has to be a balance. It's going to take some planning and obviously some work to get to that.
I'm a big believer that I hear the argument about gentrification, but I continue to hear that we're moving people out of Portland, but some of these people, but the social programs that we have, money needs to come from somewhere.
Absolutely.
Where do we get the money?
Right.
And so, how do you balance that whole concept of moving the people from one area, but still having to generate revenue so they can enjoy the social programs in the Virgin Islands.
What's most important, even more important beyond that, is our quality of life issues. You know, I recently heard this commercial where it said, this gentleman from East Hungary talked about, hey, if we continue to oppress businesses and tax ourselves out of problems, and a lot of, he says, if the poor people are poor now, they're going to be even poorer if we don't start to bring in these type of revenues. And I think, like you said, we really need to take care of those individuals who are growing our economy, our business people. And I don't like to use the word trickle down, because I think it's a typically a Republican phrase under Ronald Reagan. It's not.
I was saying that because you know how I feel about Republicans.
Tell me how you feel about that.
Yes, no, you're on the show, you're Republican.
Well,
I will say you're one of the Republicans I enjoy. Because you seem to have a different kind of stance. So I think you have to have them live here.
Absolutely.
You can't have that position that many of the national Republicans have.
And I think that's where the misconception comes in. I think, yes, we share some of the same philosophies, but I think our values, if you would really dissect the West Indian culture, you will see that we're very, very conservative individuals. And I tell people, I'm not a conservative because I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican because I'm a conservative, based on the West Indian values. I just had a conversation with a prominent local cruiser from Fredericksburg. I said the same thing. We complain about this Democrat, Republican. I said, listen, I guarantee your parents had conservative values. And they couldn't just
with that. I think a lot of us are conservative, but I think what some of the national Republican Party hold, what they utilize as conservative is what probably goes astray, of course, of where we in the Virgin Islands are.
Seriously.
But you talked about streamlining government. What would you propose in terms of legislation?
There's a lot of areas, but one area I want to focus on basically is we have many ports within the Virgin Islands. We have Henderson III. We have our airports. We have our airports in St. Thomas, all run by the Port Authority. And also Crown Bay. And then there's Havenside, which is run by Whitewood. We have two separate boards, two separate entities doing the same exact job. I'd like to start bringing agencies together. I think we can remove one of those boards and we can cut back a little bit of personnel. I think we can make it a more efficient operation in and of itself. I've had some other people, made some other inputs in regards to the hospital. Two boards, one in St. Thomas, one in St. Louis. Bring that stuff together, streamline government.
I've never understood how a private entity controls the port. Thank you. I've never understood that, but to tell you the truth, I'm not sure why the Port Authority isn't in control of the inside. But I think I know why. But that's not a bad idea. I didn't think about it. It's just that's not a bad idea.
And I think we really need, like I said, as a Republican, you guys think about cutting back jobs and social programs. I worked in corporate America for the last 22 years. I would never cut a job, cut a salary before I was to really do an analytical this overhaul of how we do business, of our structure. To me, the people is just too important. The mission is the people. And when you disconnect them, it really ruins your whole business the way you're doing.
Well, you're putting out a current Democrat because how many jobs have cut within the last year? 500 jobs, and salaries roll back without, in my opinion, without doing exactly what you just said.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That should be cutting salaries. It should be a last option because it really affects people's lives. It affects the morale of everyone. And how do you run a business when you have, like I said, this poor morale in your company?
Now, what do you plan to do for revenue? What are your ideas to increase revenue to the territory?
It's going to go back once again to energy. We've got to solve this energy crisis. I'm not going to open a business here in the Void Island where it's going to cost me thousands of dollars for 2,000 kilowatts of power, where it's going to cost me $180 on the mainland. There's just too big of a gap for someone to come and take a chance on. In addition to solid energy, we really need tax reform. I think the excise tax, the high grocery tax is very regressive. You can't tax yourself out of this economic woes that we currently have. We need to make this place more business friendly. So in addition to addressing energy, we definitely have to look into our excise tax, possibly moving towards a sale tax, but really giving the business owners a chance up front because you're killing them with the taxes in front and on the back end.
But how about the on-the-ground economy that is prevalent within the Virgin Islands? How do you recapture revenue from an on-the-ground economy? Because, for instance, we know many people in the Virgin Islands that own a home and renting an apartment or two. How do we then capture that, particularly make sure those people who are actually pulling in revenue also contribute to the tax base.
You call that an underground economy, it's a black market, you know, and it is what it is. In tough times like this, it would be very tough to address that. If I could solve that, we'd have all the money we need. There's a lot of money circling around. I don't think people believe the service you're getting is what they deserve for the tax you're paying. So there's always going to be that underground, that black market type of economy to survive. People gotta eat, people gotta feed their children, they gotta educate their children. The other option is pack up and leave. So they run like this. That's more about a moral issue, and we can't legislate morality. I don't have a plan for that.
No, but I'm not talking about morality. Think about it. House rent for those people who are in the middle are really outpacing incomes. And sometimes, yes, you're right. Some people are just trying to make money by having an extra income. But when you have house rent outpacing income, look at St. Thomas. House rent is outrageous. How do we bring that in so people can actually rent and not be subsidized housing provided by the government?
All we have to do is, like I said, increase the workforce, increase jobs, and right now we're not doing that. So once again, we said we have to solve these basic issues. Lower energy costs so businesses will come here. Address our tax issues so businesses will come here. Make our whole government system of applying for a business license on a whole more efficient to encourage businesses to come here.
Is there anything from the BBC?
It's very touchy. You don't want to consult from very pro-business here. I believe it can be restructured. I think it's a very sweet plan. I would prefer to address the plans at Diageo up front to come back and say, you know, give away the backwater. Now we're trying to address this right here. I could see an adjustment to EDC where, okay, for the first maybe 5 years, we get that 90% tax benefits. Okay, the next 5 years beyond that, it drops down to 88, and so on. And cap it off, maybe about 70%, because we still want to make the EDC benefits attractive here in the Virgin Islands. If we put it to a point where it becomes something normal, they're just going to pack up and leave. Okay, so I want the businesses, but I don't want to take advantage of this other.
I know people who have had businesses in the EDC who are okay with having 75%.
Of course, because
they will come and they're okay with it. But for whatever reason, others in our government push to having to have 100 or 90 or 95% when they on their own would not wanted that, taking away from the regular working people of the territory. But
it's a very sweet
tell us why we should go out and push that button for you.
Push that button. Well, number one, you know, I have a 6-point plan: energy, education, agriculture, donation. Really, that's not important. We have to address that. We got to have individuals that are going to work together as a team. I'm the only consultant that's going to be elected into that legislature. We're going to be by some ICM, some Democrats, a little bit of non-party members. I can work with everyone. It's been a great experience out there with the candidates, the aspirants. We all get along. Even some of the current incumbents right now, we're talking about, hey, something I really want to work with you in the Senate. I'm the kind of person, I'm dynamic. Like I said, I believe in the team concept. I've been on a team all my life. You know, whether it's a baseball team, a strike team in the military, some of the community leadership and prevents the role. I can put things together, I can get people together, but ultimately the goal is moving St. Croix forward. Whether it's bringing businesses back here, solving our energy crisis, addressing education reform, that's the type of person.
So tell me, how am I to be comfortable that the John I see here talking tonight, saying all these things, will be the same John if you're elected come the 3rd legislature in January?
You're going to have to take my word for it. The kind of person I am. Like I said, I'm a man of my word. I believe in government for the people. I'm a representative. If I don't do that, you get rid of me in 2 years. But I can tell you, the stuff that I'm telling you right now, I believe in this connect. When I talk about bridging the gap between representative and citizen, we're going to be a bridge between me and you. And we're going to start.
Please let the audience know where they can find you. Sure. Some more information on you and what your ballot number is.
Sure. My name is John Canegata. My ballot number is number 26. Information we found at John 4 St. Croix. That's number 4 St. Croix. And there's a lot of information out there. I'm actively on Facebook. It's kind of new to me, but ask me questions. I'm here to answer them. Ultimately, energy is my priority. I think we have to solve this. It's going to be one of our detrimental failures to the Virgin Islands, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. Like I said.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. All right, we'll be back in a moment. Good evening and welcome back. You know, we had John Canegata with us, and I thought that he did a really good job. I really was impressed with what he had to say. As you know, he's a Republican. I like what he had to say. His ideas were clear, and I'm really contemplating.
Crossing party line.
Right. I am. You know why? You know why I'm feeling that way? Because I'm in the position right now where I'm thinking in my head, I'm looking for the person who has some semblance of ethics, integrity, compassion for the territory, some intelligence, and a plan to get us out of the quagmire we're in. And whatever your party is, it doesn't matter to me. How those parties are met.
Is there such thing as party lines in the Virgin Islands?
What kind of sort of?
No kind of thought that there's no such thing as party line because I think they Democrat who will agree supporting the delegate. They have big sign above the delegate sign say Chucky Hansen. Oh boy, down here. So I want to ask you. So tell me.
You're right.
I don't see a Diane K-Bart sign. I don't see a Neville James sign. I see a Chucky Hansen sign.
You're right.
About the delegate sign, bigger than the delegate sign. So I'm telling you, there's no such thing as party line in these Virgin Islands.
I agree with that.
So,
What I like is I like this character that we have in John Falloon is a man of his word. And I think he'll stand up. I think
substantive.
It was substantive.
His
plans are clear, precise, and I can do that. Of course, we work with them. So he is a man of work, and he knows the stuff. He's an energy expert. The fact that he's a man of work,
I think he might have sold me when I asked him how am I supposed to be sure or be comfortable that we're going to be the same person. He said he doesn't trust me. Other people online give a whole heap of extra stuff that wasn't necessary. He just said you just have to trust me, and if you those are good, then 5 and 8 years. People who know that they will do something just to work later are what I kind of like, they're not going to be bought by me.
Correct. And that's where I think I like what he offers. He offers a song plan. He sings against the genuine and sincere, and he can go out and do the people's work. And I think that's what we are looking for.
the only thing you're afraid to do is the fact that you can jump all around that.
Well, what we do want is people who show a true sense of character and a willingness to work for the people. Because I think we lose sight of the fact that the people that we elect are actually servants of the people.
No, we don't lose that. We don't lose that. They lose that.
But you see, education and preparation makes a difference in the kind of people you want inside of that body. I think ever so often we have settled and we have allowed them to say, but we can do worse.
Yeah.
And we take anybody to put in the
And
legislature.
as you said that, I'm thinking, we can agree to disagree. We're not all going to agree, we're not all going to have the same position. But at the end of the day, it's not what you do, it's how we do it.
I agree with that.
And I think the perception we put across for our children in particular, we have to be careful. And that's why the character and integrity, we have to look at that as a key component. A key component.
I can say the present legislature lack character and integrity.
I don't think she tried to say that. She said it. I don't know.
That was radical fault.
I know. But you know, that's our resident walk.
First thing the market don't say that.
New night. What ain't that drink? Okay. Confusion already with the 5th revision constitutional convention.
Sad.
Pure mass confusion.
I said a week ago that I don't see people making it.
Yeah,
I said it's strong in my opinion as an
But how do you have a constitutional convention meeting? By teleconference. I mean by what is that? By the video conference.
Yeah. Well, they're saying
Who does
there's
that?
lack of funding. I think
the
chairman came on and said they can use.
They said the president gave them money?
The president said that they can. No.
use GRS.
Right. The chair, Gerard Dr. II, said that they have access to resources, report reporters.
Here is some of the breakdowns. The people are saying, Corey couldn't hear what the people saying Thomas was saying. The people saying Thomas at some point couldn't hear what the people saying Corey was saying. Phones were dropping down, sales were dropping by, people were voting, no one knew what they were voting on. I mean, pure confusion. And this is our document. This is the part that I'm not understanding. Everybody's acting out it.
Anger, frustration, swearing,
I'll tell everything that you do to it. So you're telling me that the legislature, government house, you don't have bulb sitting around to give these delegates to come sit from an 8 o'clock on.
What I am saying is designed to fail. That's what I'm saying.
It is designed to fail.
Because the legislature wants to take over
If you're going to give them a month to deal with 9 serious issues that require actual discussion, you didn't intend for them to succeed.
No.
And so the 29th legislature is going to write our, Ronnie and his cabal, will write our constitution, and I will put it on the air right now. If this goes to the legislature, and the legislature is the one who is going to write this constitution, I don't give a damn what the hell they put in that document. I will not vote for it. It is not the original vote I voted for, you voted for, you voted for, you voted for, collectively, whether I agree with what everybody says or not, if they're not the ones who are going to put this document together to present for me to vote, I will not support that document.
You had the concern about the time constraints, and I think the delegate themselves are complaining that it's not sufficient time to really substantively go through the revision and make an informed decision as to how to proceed. They're just don't have enough time. You can't do something in a vacuum. It's not all together form that you're comfortable with it. So I think that is a challenge that we have.
Listen, I think Judge Lewis got it wrong. I think her decision not to run that CRO, I think she got it wrong. I think she placed too much emphasis on urges them to reconvene. I don't think that's what it was. They told them to reconvene, and in my opinion, urged them to reconsider those 9 things. Because Congress did not mandate that they did. Because Congress said, no, we like it, and sent it right back. And all Congress would do at that point was say, okay, that's what we'll go to the registry, and it was sent back. So that's what you want? Okay, that's what you want. They recognize, in my opinion, Congress recognized it was a document that should be done by the people. Because the legislation, as I said, public law, that they created, they could have written it and made the corrections themselves. They didn't have to send it back. They could have done that also, we don't like that, we change this,
Yeah, but it wasn't their.
But they recognize that they didn't want that. They want you to do it. So Congress and this cabal came together to decide how they wanted to get it done. Do it in 30 days, but it's been 18 months, I think, to be able to put that document together. Is beyond me. And I think you're right. It was designed to fail. So that they can take it over by the 29th legislature, put whatever they want in it, send it back. I'm serious.
Well,
I'm not voting for
We're running out of time,
that.
guys. We have what, literally 2 more days left? Is that it? 2 more days left?
And they're still fighting. But I think they're saying that they voted on something, but you have half the delegates saying they don't know what they voted on. They got 2 days to get it done. They're not gonna make it. And I'm trying to figure out where in the public law did Judge Lewis see that Congress felt it was okay to take it back from the elected people to give it to the version I know that decision to write. Because Congress could have done exactly what they were intending to do, and they didn't. That's the part that has me confused, and I'm really in the point where I'm like, everybody could just do whatever they want. We don't have laws society, what they want to do. Because it clearly, there are no laws for anybody here to follow according to this environment.
So we can't lose sight of the intent of electing those 30 delegates.
You don't lose sight. You see people meeting. If I were those constitutional delegates, I was never meeting with those 5 lawyers. I was going to meet by myself with the other 3 delegates and take my time, and they will put together what they want. And I was going to fight Congress. That document that they put together is not the document that the 30 delegates to the Constitution. And I guarantee you, I don't see Congress accepting something from the legislature over something coming from those 5 constitutional delegates.
Yeah, I don't see anything, even if it does. Congress agrees on exception. I don't see it passing either.
Well, I know Emile A. Henderson III will not be going to anything coming out from Ronnie and this group.
The problem is the process is now being compromised. Individual islands are just not going to feel comfortable with something that goes through a process that's questionable. That's unfair. That's unfair to people because I think it's long overdue.
Yeah, construction.
It's becoming too convoluted, and I think that's the challenge right here. To me,
I think it's intentional. So when things are complicated, people don't want to pass it. They want to do
That's the problem.
more frustrated with the process.
So I just want to get this.
and they didn't need to be. And they were not properly educated from the on this whole process. And nobody convinced that they were. They were not properly educated. The legislature, from the inception of this constitutional convention, did nothing to really assist them to be able to do all the things that they needed to do.
And then the lack
It was designed to fail. I don't think it was designed.
educated the people and the masses so they can better understand and appreciate the
there can be a sixth.
Amen.
Because I would not support this document if Ron Russell and his crew writing it. Yes, it's about, if they're writing it, I'm not with it. That's for sure. Because we're talking about the people who would bring legislation to the floor to preclude people from being able to get their money back if they were successful in a lawsuit. And who will go and think that we have violate contracts and say, you don't get no more differential pay, knowing that they'll come say and you're entitled to have it. They cannot, no, remember, what about this one? It's sitting. Maybe you should come, maybe you should come and just put it for planners and actually go measure up into it. Because it's just sitting there. By the time you know, it'll be sunset. I'm serious. But let me be careful because you know, get sanctioned for left and right for taking certain moves to so against the courts. So let me be careful. Yeah.
But nonetheless, you know, it's unfortunate though. I mean, they have disagreement, they have technicalities with the color conference, they had frustration, anger, swearing. I mean, all the drama, you imagine it.
But by the way, how can you accept? When I see Mr. King, I'm asking, how do you accept a vote on something when the delegates are telling you they don't know what they're voting for?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's so confusing. You know, there were like 4 different things going here that nobody knew. I couldn't hear what you were saying about positions. You couldn't hear what I was saying. There were 4 different things going on. We'll be voting on something. Okay, we're going to go on vote on this too on, and nobody knows what it is we voted on.
Well, they may have reconvened today.
Right. The haste to get it done, that's gonna happen. And I think we just need to, again, we need to just let it maybe get ready fail, but another 6 and work on it. Even though it's by design, because and
if it takes us 20 times to do it, it'll take us 20 times to do it. I think that this 5th convention was designed to fail. And because it was designed to fail, we could not get done what needed to be done. If people were properly educated on that document, we may not have had the kind of issue we had. People use that constitutional convention draft to get into office.
So, thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, and think about this. And we keep saying UBI, but think about the players who were at UBI when they were charged with educating. Mr. Roach and the president of the university at that time was Dr. Raxel. So we also need to be mindful of that. So take the consideration because they also probably played a part, and we don't know what was who all was in the back room trying to get this done. And it's
I don't know what role they should have because nobody learned anything.
thank you. It's a real shame.
And
But you understand that this is an operational document that makes government work better. And at the end of the day, we need an operational document because there's still some challenges that is put forth by the Canegata.
I can't wait to see what they come up with, honestly, if they come up with something. And I'm willing to at least review what they come up with, if it comes up with it. But if it goes to the legislature, I can tell you right now, I'm okay where it what's in it. It's dead on arrival for me.
Amen.
That's for sure.
That bill, Mr. Peterson, was they came up with something, they came up with revisions and it's
We'll see.
So by tomorrow, she does something.
Hopefully we'll see something. We'll talk about it on another show. Alright, well, you know, rock your voice, go out at the other time, rock your voice, be sure to go out and vote as though your life depends on it because it does. It is important that you exercise your right to vote here locally and nationally. These are important elections in 2012 that will chart the course of where we're going to go. Whether we're going to get a better place or continue to spiral downward. So remember, your voice can make a difference to everybody.